There was a man called Magnus, a name that once roared across continents, carved into skyscrapers, and whispered in elite circles. He built his wealth not through inheritance, not by luck, but by mastering the rules of the game until he thought he no longer needed rules at all. He rose from nothing, from the rough gutters of Lagos, learning trade, learning movement, learning power. One day, in a forgotten corner of a hotel, he met a strange foreigner who gave him an old book, telling him, "This is the closest thing to prophecy for men who want to play with fire." Magnus read it, and from those words built a formula combining technology, oil, and data in a way the world hadn't seen. He disrupted entire markets. While others built companies, he built a kingdom. But what he never understood, what they never taught him in that book, was that money does not frighten power. And when power feels disrespected, it doesn't rage, it whispers. At the height of his reign, Magnus rejected an invitation to join a circle of unseen men, men who don't speak at press conferences, but decide whose plane flies and whose doesn't. He thought himself too big for alliances. So they didn't fight him, they removed him, quietly. First, the slow drying up of contracts. Then, scandals no one could trace, but everyone believed. His suppliers were bought out, his name blacklisted in systems he didn't know existed. Then came the betrayal of the people closest to him. His personal assistant vanished along with his digital vaults. His wife was fed poison not in her food, but in her ears until love turned to disgust. His eldest son arrested overseas on falsified charges, his image dragged in places he couldn't reach. And when he looked for his brother, the one who once swore blood loyalty, he found him giving testimony in a courtroom paid for by enemies he'd never seen. Magnus didn't fall with thunder, he dissolved like mist. The world woke up one day and he simply no longer mattered, from billionaire to fugitive, from empire to exile, alone. You see, Magnus didn't lose because he wasn't smart. He lost because he was blind in the wrong direction. He knew markets, knew code, knew capital, but he forgot the art of watching shadows. He forgot that the world is not ruled by wealth, but by those who can make and unmake wealth quietly. Ignorance, in his case, was not lack of education. It was the arrogance of believing you've already learned enough, and in business, that is death. So if you are young, rising, dreaming of empires, listen carefully. Power does not shout. It does not walk in daylight. And if you ever think you've arrived, know this: the moment you stop learning, you start dying. Build, yes. Dream, yes, but understand that the higher you rise, the deeper your roots must grow into wisdom. Surround yourself not only with skill, but with perception. Don't just master your craft, learn people, learn silence, learn presence. And never ignore an invitation from those who pull strings behind the stage. Even if you must refuse them, refuse wisely, not arrogantly. Life is not fair, but it is predictable to those who study its rhythm. Let Magnus be your cautionary tale. Let him remind you that wealth without awareness is like a throne on thin ice. You may sit high, but when it breaks, you fall fast and alone. Learn, watch, move with humility, for that is where true power begins.